Walk into an Amish home and you won't find a cabinet stuffed with 20 different sprays. You'll find a few simple, honest supplies that do everything. And near the top of that list is a plain brown bottle of hydrogen peroxide that costs about $1. Today I'll show you 13 things that little bottle can do that make the pricey stuff under your sink look like a ripoff. Let's get into it. Number 1. Turn one brown bottle into an all-surface disinfectant. Before you buy another bottle of disinfecting spray, look at what you already have. Plain 3% hydrogen peroxide, the kind sold at every pharmacy for a couple of bucks, is a genuine disinfectant recognized by the CDC. It works by releasing oxygen, and that burst of oxygen tears apart the cell walls of bacteria, viruses, and fungi. That's the fizzing you see when you pour it out. It's oxygen doing the work. The beauty of it, in true plain living fashion, is that one bottle replaces a whole shelf of specialty products. Pour it straight into a dark spray bottle, spritz it on your kitchen counters, your sink, doorknobs, light switches, cutting boards, even the inside of your refrigerator. Then let it sit for about 5 to 10 minutes and wipe it dry. That dwell time matters. It needs a few minutes of contact to actually kill germs, not just a quick wipe. Cutting boards deserve special attention. After you've cut raw chicken, spray the board down with peroxide, let it bubble, and rinse. It's one of the cheapest ways to avoid cross-contamination in your kitchen. And unlike harsh commercial cleaners, peroxide breaks down into nothing but water and oxygen, so there's no chemical residue left behind on the surfaces where you prepare your food. Think about how many single-purpose bottles that one habit replaces. The counter spray, the separate cutting board sanitizer, the fridge wipes, the kills 99.9% of germs trigger bottle that cost $5 or $6. All of it does essentially the same job that a $1 brown bottle does. High-touch surfaces are the ones worth hitting most often, since Dr. handles, light switches, faucet levers, and cabinet pulls are exactly where germs move from hand to hand through a household. A quick spray and a 5-minute wait on those spots, especially when someone in the house is sick, is about the most cost-effective cleaning habit there is. Number 2, whiten grout without the bleach fumes. Grout is one of those things modern companies love to sell you a special product for. There are whole aisles of grout revivers and bleach pens, and they aren't cheap. But the thrifty solution is sitting in your medicine cabinet. Grout turns dingy because it's porous, so it soaks up grime, soap scum, and mildew over the years. To bring it back, make a simple paste of hydrogen peroxide and baking soda. Spread it right onto the grout lines. Let it sit for a while so the peroxide can oxidize the staining and the baking soda can scrub. Then work it with an old toothbrush and rinse. The peroxide lifts the discoloration while gently killing the mildew living in those lines, and the baking soda gives you just enough grit to scrub without scratching. For lightly grimy grout, you can skip the paste and just spray peroxide straight on. Let it dwell and scrub. One quick word of caution the Amish approach would appreciate. Peroxide is a mild bleach, so it's perfect on white grout, but test it first if your grout is colored, and keep it off natural stone like marble. Number 3, sanitize the germest thing in your kitchen. Here's a fact that surprises people. The dirtiest object in most homes isn't the toilet, it's the kitchen sponge. That damp, warm little brick is a 5-star hotel for bacteria, and most folks just keep using it until it falls apart, or they toss it and buy another pack. There's a thriftier way. Soak your sponge or dishcloth in 3% hydrogen peroxide for a few minutes, then rinse it thoroughly with hot water. The peroxide works its way into the pores and knocks out the bacteria hiding inside. You can do the same for your dish brushes and scrubbers. Doing this a couple of times a week means one sponge lasts far longer, which is exactly the kind of small, steady saving that adds up over a year. It's not glamorous, but neither is throwing money in the trash every time you buy a new multi-pack of sponges you didn't really need to replace. Number 4. Deep clean the toilet bowl for pennies. Toilet bowl cleaners are marked up ridiculously for what they are. You can do the same job with peroxide and get a disinfecting bonus on top. Pour about half a cup of 3% hydrogen peroxide into the bowl. Let it sit for around 20 minutes so it can work on stains and germs, then scrub with your brush and flush. The peroxide brightens the porcelain, lifts those brownish mineral and organic stains around the waterline, and disinfects as it goes. No choking chemical smell, no blue dye, no residue. This is also the perfect moment to mention how to store your bottle, because it's the one mistake that quietly ruins peroxide's power. Light breaks it down into plain water. That's exactly why it comes in an opaque brown bottle in the first place. Keep it in that original dark container, out of the light, and it stays strong. A good test: fresh, active peroxide fizzes when it hits an organic stain. If it just sits there flat and lifeless, it's expired, and you're basically cleaning with water. Number 5. Brighten dingy whites and disinfect your laundry. Chlorine bleach is harsh, it eats at fabric over time, and the fumes are unpleasant. Peroxide is a gentler, oxygen-based bleach that does much of the same brightening work without the same downsides, and it's far cheaper than those scoopable oxygen boost tubs marketed for laundry. Add about 1 cup of 3% hydrogen peroxide to your washing machine's bleach dispenser along with your normal detergent. It'll help brighten white shirts, socks, and sheets that have gone gray or yellow, breaking down the residue that dulls them. As a bonus, it acts as a mild disinfectant in the wash, knocking out odor-causing bacteria that regular detergent leaves behind, which is a lifesaver for gym clothes and musty towels. 2 honest cautions. First, make sure your peroxide is fresh so it actually fizzes, because old flat peroxide does nothing in the wash. Second, remember it's a bleach, so keep it to whites and color-fast fabrics, and spot test anything dyed before you commit a whole load. Number 6. Lift impossible stains like blood, wine, and sweat. This is where peroxide earns its keep and makes those expensive stain remover sticks look silly. It's especially remarkable on protein-based stains like blood. Here's the neat part of the chemistry. When peroxide touches a fresh blood stain, it attacks the proteins in the blood, while the oxygen bubbles physically lift the residue up out of the fabric fibers. For a fresh blood stain, pour a little 3% peroxide right on it, let it foam, rinse with cold water, and launder as usual. It works best on fresh stains, so act fast. It's just as clutch for red wine on a white carpet or tablecloth, and for those stubborn yellow sweat stains in the armpits of white shirts that no amount of regular washing seems to fix. Those yellow pit stains, by the way, are largely a reaction between your sweat and the aluminum in antiperspirant, which is why they're so hard to budge with detergent alone. Peroxide oxidizes them instead of just trying to wash them away. For carpet stains, don't drench the area. Spray a little on, blot gently with a clean cloth, and lift the stain out rather than grinding it in, and always test a hidden corner of the carpet first, since peroxide can lighten some dyes. Got a mystery stain and no idea what it is? Mix a teaspoon of peroxide with a little cream of tartar or a dab of plain non-gel toothpaste into a paste, rub it on with a soft cloth, and rinse. Whatever it was tends to disappear. Just keep all of this on whites and light, color-fast materials, and treat stains while they're fresh whenever you can, because a set-in stain is always a harder fight than a new one. Number 7. Wipe out bathroom, mold and mildew. Your shower is a warm, wet breeding ground for mildew, which is why there's an entire category of pricey mold sprays out there. Peroxide handles it because it's both antifungal and antibacterial. It kills mold spores rather than just smearing them around. For tough spots under the sink, in the corners of the shower, or along the caulk, spray undiluted 3% peroxide directly onto the mildew and let it sit for about 10 minutes. Then scrub it right off. On fresh, light surface mildew, you often don't even need to water it down. Just attack it directly, wipe, and it's gone. One safety rule to burn into your memory, and it fits the careful, no-nonsense way the Amish do things. Never mix hydrogen peroxide and vinegar together in the same bottle. On their own, they're both useful, but combined in a container, they form peracetic acid, which is corrosive and can irritate your lungs, skin, and eyes. Use one, rinse, then the other if you must, but never blend them into a single homemade super cleaner. Same goes for mixing it with bleach or ammonia. Don't do it. Number 8. Rescue scorched, stained cookware. We've all got that one pot or baking sheet with burnt-on gunk welded to the bottom, the kind of thing that makes you consider just buying a new one. Save your money. Sprinkle a generous layer of baking soda over the stained or burnt cookware, then spray or drizzle 3% hydrogen peroxide over the top until you've got a fizzing paste. Let that mixture sit and work for at least 10 minutes, up to an hour for really bad cases. The peroxide loosens and oxidizes the scorched-on residue, while the baking soda gives you the gentle abrasion to scrub it away. Then wipe, rinse, and marvel. This combo also brightens discolored ceramic and enamel cookware and cuts through the baked-on grime on stovetops and oven racks. It's the same two-ingredient trick, and between them, that box of baking soda and that brown bottle replace a whole lineup of overpriced scouring products and heavy-duty degreasers. Number 9. Reverse yellowed plastic. This one feels like a magic trick the first time you see it. Old plastic, think storage containers, kids' toys, phone cases, even the beige plastic on vintage electronics tends to yellow over the years. That yellowing comes from flame-retardant chemicals in the plastic reacting with light and air over time. Most people assume it's permanent and toss the item. It isn't. Submerge the yellowed plastic in a container of 3% hydrogen peroxide, set it somewhere it'll catch sunlight, and let it soak. The combination of peroxide and UV light from the sun reverses the yellowing and restores the original color. This works especially well on clear phone cases and old plastic dishes and utensils. You do need patience, which is fitting for the plain living mindset. It can take hours, and sometimes more than one round, to fully bring the color back, and the more direct sunlight the item gets, the faster it works. For an item you can't fully submerge, you can soak a cloth or paper towel in peroxide, lay it over the yellowed surface, and set the whole thing in the sun so the plastic stays wet the entire time. But watching a yellowed old container turn bright white again for the cost of a splash of peroxide and some free sunshine is deeply satisfying. It's the ultimate frugal move, restoring something you already own instead of buying a replacement, and keeping usable stuff out of the landfill in the process. Storage bins, old game controllers, kitchen gadgets, and toys that looked destined for the trash can all get a second life. Number 10. Streak-free glass mirrors and stainless steel. Glass cleaner is one of the most marked up products in the store, and it's mostly water with a little cleaning agent and blue dye. You can replace it entirely. Pour 3% hydrogen peroxide into a spray bottle, mist your windows, mirrors, and glass shower doors, and wipe with a lint-free cloth or paper towel. It cuts through the film, fingerprints, toothpaste splatter, and grime. And because peroxide breaks down clean into water and oxygen, it leaves a streak-free shine without a chemical haze. It's a particularly good pick for the bathroom mirror since it's disinfecting at the same time. It also does a nice job on stainless steel appliances and fixtures, lifting smudges and water spots and leaving them gleaming. So the fridge door, the faucet, and the mirror above the sink can all be handled by the same $1 bottle instead of 3 different specialty sprays. Number 11. Deodorize the machines that clean everything else. Here's an idea most people never stop to consider. Your washing machine, your dishwasher, and your trash can all get filthy, and companies sell you special machine cleaner tablets and can deodorizers to deal with it. Peroxide handles all 3. For your washing machine, pour a couple of cups of 3% peroxide into the drum and run an empty hot cycle. It cuts through the funky, mildewy smell that builds up in the drum and the seals, especially in front loaders. Do the same for your dishwasher to freshen it and knock back odor-causing bacteria in the corners you can't easily reach. For the trash can, that grimy container that everything smelly passes through, spray it down inside and out with peroxide. Let it sit, then wipe or rinse. It disinfects and deodorizes at the source instead of just masking the smell with perfume. Same trick works on coolers, lunch boxes, reusable grocery bags, and diaper pails, all of which tend to hold onto odors no matter how many times you wipe them with soap. The reason this matters is simple thrift. Most of us clean the dishes, but forget to clean the machine that cleans the dishes. Over months, mildew and bacteria build up in the very places we count on to keep things sanitary, and the smell that comes off a neglected washer or dishwasher gets transferred right back onto your clean clothes and plates. Handling it with the same brown bottle instead of a pricey box of machine cleaner tablets is the quiet, practical kind of clean that doesn't cost a fortune. Number 12, the famous skunk off the dog formula. This is the crown jewel, the one almost nobody knows until they desperately need it. If your dog gets sprayed by a skunk, do not reach for tomato juice. That old wives' tale barely works. The real fix was worked out by a chemist, and it's built around hydrogen peroxide. Mix 1 quart of 3% hydrogen peroxide, a quarter cup of baking soda, and a teaspoon or 2 of liquid dish soap. Work it into your dog's dry coat, keeping it well away from the eyes. Let it sit for around 5 minutes, then rinse thoroughly and repeat if needed. The peroxide and baking soda chemically react with the stinky compounds in skunk spray and neutralize them, which is why it works when nothing else does. 2 critical rules. First, mix it fresh and use it immediately, and never store the leftover mixture in a sealed bottle because it releases gas and the pressure can make a closed container burst. Second, know that peroxide can lighten dark fur, so it's a trade-off in an emergency. Still, 1 cheap bottle solving a full-blown skunk crisis is exactly the kind of resourcefulness that makes fancy pet de-skunk kits look overpriced. Number 13, sanitize toothbrushes, retainers, brushes, and more. Finally, let's talk about all the little personal items that quietly collect germs, the ones you'd never think to clean and definitely shouldn't buy a special product for. Your toothbrush sits in a damp bathroom collecting bacteria, often right next to a toilet that sprays a fine mist every time it flushes. Soak the bristles in 3% peroxide for a few minutes and rinse well. And you've got a fresh sanitized brush, which also means you're not replacing it as often. It's a smart habit after you've been sick, so you're not reintroducing the same germs to your mouth every morning. The same quick soak works for combs, hairbrushes, retainer and mouthguard cases, tweezers, nail clippers, and makeup brushes, all things that touch your body constantly and almost never get disinfected. Peroxide has a few more old-fashioned personal uses worth knowing. It can brighten stained, dingy fingernails. Just soak them briefly, and the discoloration fades. Added to a warm foot soak, it helps soften rough calluses and freshen tired feet. And as a diluted rinse, it's long been used to soften and loosen earwax, since it's a genuine wax-dissolving agent, though skip that one if you've got ear tubes or a damaged eardrum. One important modern update, though. Doctors no longer recommend pouring peroxide on cuts and scrapes. It irritates the skin and slows healing, so keep this bottle for your home and your grooming kit, not your wounds. So there you have it. 1 humble brown bottle, about $1, quietly doing the work of a dozen overpriced products. That's the Amish way. Simple, honest, and thrifty. Grab a fresh bottle, keep it in the dark, never mix it with vinegar or bleach, and start saving. If this helped you, give it a like and share it with a friend. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. Thanks for watching.